Tamil Sai Soundarajan, Governor Telangana and Lieutenant Governor Puducherry. Sampujya Swami Mitranand Ji, Sampujya Swami Chidanand Puri Ji, Thiru Koonam Rajsekharan Ji, former Governor, Justice Jayachandran, Thiru K. Anant Gopan, Thiru T.B. Shekhar, Thiru P.G. Shasikumar Verma, Thiru Brahmasri Krishna Nambudari, distinguished invitees, Ayyappa devotees, Anaivarkum, Vanakkam, Namaskaram. My direct association with Lord Ayyappa, I call it association because that's the year I became his devotee, was in 1977, when as a young police officer I went to Kerala. After my training at the National Police Academy, I came to Trivandrum. That was December 1977. That was the time when Sabrimala pilgrimage begins. As a student, as a high school student, I had heard about Lord Ayyappa living in mountains of Kerala in the forest. I was curious. And when I came to Kerala in 77, as a trainee, I requested my seniors to let me go on duty. I was discouraged by my seniors, saying that there was no facility. All we had at the time was thatched, a few huts here and there, facility for food, living. It was all very, very primitive. They thought it would be difficult for me to go and stay there for about a month. I insisted and I went, and that was an experience which has stayed with me ever since, and I continued visiting thereafter so long I was in Kerala every year. I was to help the pilgrims. I do not know how the route is today, but the shorter route used to be through forest, where there used to be sometimes a scare of elephants. Of course, nothing happened to any pilgrims, thanks to Lord Ayyappa, blessings. But my job was to guide them, escort them, assist them. Sometimes a pilgrim falls sick. Either take the pilgrim to the medical assistance or bring the medical assistance to the pilgrim. So it is about 45 years that I have been a devotee of Lord Ayyappa. I would like to congratulate and thank Sabrimala Ayyappa Seva Samajam for taking up this task of uniting the community through Ayyappa yogams and also celebrating the centenary of Harivarasanam. Ayyappa Seva is Rashtra Seva. Ayyappa Seva is Rashtra Seva. There shouldn't be any doubt about it. Because this Rashtra Bharat was created by our rishis and sages who expounded and expanded the truth enshrined in our Vedas, which became our Sanatan Dharma. It is Sanatan Dharma which built this Bharat. Among the various complex or not so complex ideas enshrined in our scriptures, the three fundamental truths which our rishis expounded were one, there was one Parameshwara, there was one God. Second, this Parameshwara permeates through the entire creation. That is unity of creation. There are different beings, different creatures. No two are alike. Like leaves on a tree has million leaves, and no two leaves are alike. But each and every leaf is linked with the tree. Beyond the tree, it has no existence. And this oneness of creation, which led our rishis to sing song and prayers, Sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu ma kaschit dukha bhag bhave. Every being, every creature, not only humans, must be happy, must be free of diseases. This was the prayer that our rishis gave. And this is what means unity in diversity. Many a times people will tend to believe that unity in diversity is a constitutional construct. It is not. Constitution doesn't carry the soul of India. Constitution is for the governance of India. Bharat was born long, thousands and thousands years before Constitution of India was written. And the third truth was that this realization, the first two realization, that one creator Parameshwara and unity of creation, Parameshwara permeates through entire creation, is an individual experience. And so, eko sada vipra bahudha vadanti. Truth is one, wise people express it variously. And this is what makes it all inclusive. This is what makes it Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. When this light Several thousand years ago, people have different estimates. But by most conservative, it is about 6,500 years before the Common Era. That is almost about 8,500 years before. Some will go even beyond. When this light was revealed, not by one rishi, not by two rishis, by collective. Through generations, this distillation of realization, when it emerged as a light, it spread through the land. People at different parts expressing this reality in different ways, but essentially rooted to that oneness. Sanatana Dharma was, we call it Dharma. We don't, it is not religion. And I have a very serious reservation about calling it a religion. Religion is ritualistic. Religions are prescriptive. Religions are dogmatic. Dharma is one that holds all of, holds together, all inclusive, be it individual, be it family, be it society, be it country, be it the world, all holds together. And I think I would suggest that instead of using the word religion, why should we borrow the word from some language? Because language is a reflection of intellectual and spiritual evolution of a civilization. Our civilization evolved several thousands years before others came. We don't have to borrow, because their languages are incapable. I am not aware of any word equivalent of dharma in English language. There is no word. Then why do we have to adopt the word religion? Why don't we call it dharma? Let other languages adopt this word dharma. This Sanatan Dharma created at the time, during the Vedic period, it created this Rashtra, Bharat. And then the Rishi said, Uttaram yat samudrasya, himadrasya iva dakshinam, varsham tad bharatam nama, bharati yatra santati. And what was the Himalaya then? Not what we have today. In the east, it went beyond Brahmdesh, what is called Burma or Myanmar today, Siam, what is Thailand. On the west, beyond Hindu Kush. Ocean was not just Indian Ocean. All this land below. That was the enlightened land. The land enwrapped in this light. Bha is a root Sanskrit, light. This Bharat was created not by kings. Like other countries where some king, some chieftain with some army, soldiers capture land and create a country. No. This was created by our rishis through their lights and sustained by those who followed this Sanatan Dharma. And our rishis prescribed different ways to follow it, primarily three ways: Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. For Samanya Manavi, for common man, it is the Bhakti, which is the easiest way to connect. Connect with the divinity, connect with each other. And this you see all over Bharat. And in this tradition, in this tradition of bhakti, Ayyappa Dharma, Ayyappa worship is very, very significant. This country, if we remove our Sanatan Sanskriti, Sanatan Adhyatma, it will become a crowd. Different languages, different regions, different climates, different cuisines. What binds us together, what makes us a family is this Sanatan Dharma, which is expressed variously at various places, but the root is one. Go to the remote tribal areas of Northeast and you hear the stories of Rama, you hear the stories of Krishna. But it is all pervasive. Even in the areas which subsequent colonial rulers called them primitive and tribals, even their way of life, their way of worship is nothing but Sanatan Dharma. How integrally they are connected, they are related with each other and with the entire creation. It is different from what is called anthropocentric view of life. Mostly the Abrahamic religion, where they said man is the center of creation, God created man, and then they created this rest of the creation for the enjoyment of men. No, Sanatana Dharma does not say that. We are integral element of creation. We have no superior claim. Now this light, this Dharma, because it has inherent strength, it is indestructible, it has survived, but it has suffered a lot. Until about 7th, 8th century, invaders used to come to Bharat. At times, the local kings used to be defeated. But those who came, they became Sanatan Dharmi. This was the assimilative strength of Sanatana Dharma. I'm just tempted to recall one incident. There are numerous. In the 2nd century BC, one Bactrian Greek, Menander, invaded. He came to Kashmir. Kashmir at the time, the predominant sampradaya was Buddha. They are all sampradayas, Buddha, Jain, all. Originates from the same darshan, same adhyatma, Vedic darshan. So when Menander came and he defeated the king of Kashmir, he had heard of a great scholar called Nagasena. He was curious to know what is this? What is the dharma of this place? He had heard a lot about. So he called Nagasena. And there was a long discussion. Menander used to ask questions. Nagasena used to reply. It went on for months together. And the whole treatise is called Milindapana. And Menander became a Buddhist Milind. This was the assimilative character of strength of this Sanatana Dharma, this Bharat. Milindapana is a canonical text of Buddhism all over the world. It was only when the people with what they call religion, that this is the religion, nothing else. You have to follow it my way or highway. When they started, that problem began. Somnath was destroyed. Gandhar was a Sanatan Dharma land until it became Peshawar. Bakhtiyar Khilji came all through Gangetic Plain, destroyed, went up to Bengal, burnt Nalanda. The whole library kept burning for more than a year, massacred thousands and thousands of monks, teachers and students. Brutal massacre. This Rashtra suffered very heavily. Over 1,000 years it has suffered. And it has suffered because though our dharma is Sanatan, somehow we did not transform it into our collective strength. When Swami Vivekananda said, Shakti ki sadhana karo, Shakti ki sadhana. Sukraniti says, Balino vasaga sarva, durbalasya cha shatruva. If you are strong, you have friends around. If you are weak, you are surrounded by enemies. And this is what happened to us. This dharma, it remained so much diffused, it could not be harnessed and concentrated, because this was not a land of kings and it was not a kingdom. But then external world, which is hostile to this Sanatan Dharma, inflicted much damage and we suffered a lot. It was a prospering land. Even today, how many of us, we have all studied and we all know. Students of mathematics, Pythagoras theorem. Pythagoras has written in his book, he got it from Bharat. Plato, he was called Aflatun. His literature you read. In his own, he has mentioned about what knowledge that he borrowed from Bharat. But today, Greek is known, not Bharat. Science and technology of Bharat is not known. What they talk about Greek and Arab. Arabs were far, far behind. They were primitive. We have a big lessons to learn. The Bharat has to be strong. Bharat has to be awakened, not only for Bharat alone, but for the whole world. Survival of the world depends on Bharat. And when I say Bharat to be strong is not just militarily strong or economically strong. Bharat cannot be just militarily and economically strong. Bharat has to be spiritually strong. Without a spirituality, there is no Bharat. And now that we have set on a journey, a target of next 25 years, by the time we celebrate the 100 years of our independence, India has to be the world leader. You see the problems around the world. Everyone is at cross, fighting with each other. Because they don't have this light. They do not have the Sanatan Dharma. But for Sanatan Dharma to be capable of being listened to, it has to be strong. As I said, Sukraniti, Balino Vasaga Sarve Durbalasya Cha Shatruva. We have to be strong. Only then we will be able to prevail. It is not enough that Sanatana Dharma has survived. It is a necessity that Sanatana Dharma must prevail for the sake of the world, for the sake of the humanity. Even the crisis like climate crisis, advanced countries, rest of the world talking about carbon, this, that. Nobody is doing anything serious work. It is Bharat which has started taking substantive steps because it is here in our dharma. For us, earth is not a resource. Earth is our mother. Ayyappa, Sabrimala Ayyappa Seva Samajam, it has taken upon itself a very, very noble task of spreading the message of Ayyappa Dharma and creating yogams. Please do that. I wish you all the very best in what you are doing, because while we can materially, we are growing economically. India is one of the fastest economy in the world today. Our technological power is now being acknowledged by the world. Nobody now puts India in the third world category. Till a few years back, India was placed in third world. Nobody talks about it now. In fact, the world looks up to India for leadership. But this leadership apart, the leadership in our spirituality, that is the core, that is our defining identity. And in this organization like Sabrimala Ayyappa Seva Samajam has a crucial role to play. I offer my services in whichever I can. I will be very happy to be part of it, because our mission is Ore Bharatam, Unnat Bharatam, Ek Bharat, Shrestha Bharat. There are forces which are trying to destabilize. There are forces which are trying to create internal disturbances. They put on multiple faces and they are challenging us within the country and from outside the country. We have to be aware of it. Today, failure or defeat is not an option before us. We have to be victorious, we have to win, and we will win. And with this, wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
Swami